Okay, James Jack Williams. I am the treasurer of the credit union, have been for the last 7 or 8 years. I was born in Pennsylvania. I'm one of them Yankees, one of them damn Yankees they call them. Couldn't make enough money to get back home. I got down here in the Navy in '57. Couldn't make enough money to get back home. So the boys that I worked with told me if they'd have just known, they'd have given me the money for a bus ticket back home. You believe that? I spent 4 years in the Navy. I was on the USS Hornet for 2 of those years. I was at Ellison Field the last 2 years. I was in a crash crew at Ellison Field. Flew in helicopters. Didn't fly them, but flew in them as lookouts and stuff like that. The Hornet, I was a resting gear person. I'd run the mirror that landed all the planes on the carrier. 17 years old, 18 years old. That's just, it blows my mind now, you know, a little old young punk kid with that responsibility, you know. It's brings back a lot of memories, and I was almost a total military person. I tried to get in the Air Force after I got out of the Navy. At that time, they were going to resting gears for fields where they didn't have a lot of distance to land and stuff, and they offered me a promotion and to go in there. Well, it just so happened the Navy at that time, they had job codes. They put a big 0 on my job code, so they couldn't give me the promotion and stuff like that because they didn't have the job code on my discharge. So I started working with my father over at across from Town and Country Plaza. He had a service station over there. Been a kind of a mechanic all my life. Just to know a little bit about everything, you know, and not a whole lot about nothing. Well, I was working with my dad, like I said, at a service station. I just had got out of the service in 1959. Was working over there. I had gotten married, had 1 child at that time, and so I put in for Chemstrand, Monsanto at that time, Chemstrand I guess at that time. And they called me and I went out there and started working for 69 cents an hour. No, $1.78 an hour I think it was. Yeah, at that time I was bringing home about $65, $68 a week, you know, which wasn't too bad I guess at that time. When I started I was in distribution. What I did, I supplied the women with buggies of yarn on them, and they was packing the buggies, and that's what I started, pushing buggies, and I fed buggies, kept a whole line, maybe 10 or 12 women packing boxes. I kept them busy. They kept me busy bringing the yarn in there, and that's where I got started. And I went to the segregator, which that's where everybody's box come in on a segregator, and you had to separate yarn with that. Then I went to CP. I was there for about 3 years, and I've been wanting to get in maintenance, and I got in maintenance after that, and spent the rest of my career out there in maintenance, which I loved. So I retired when I was 55 years old, 34 years service. A guy by the name of Johnny Coker. He come to me one time, and people tell me I've always been concerned about people's, just about people, I guess, and try to help them and things like that. And Johnny come to me one time. We had a gentleman that was getting off the credit committee, and Johnny felt like that I would make a good one. And that was back in 1981. I got elected on the credit committee, and they done away with the credit committee, I think, 4 or 5 years after that, but they just put us into the board itself rather than tell us to go bye-bye. They just combined the whole bunch, and glad he did. Glad he asked me to run, and it's been a up and down, but mostly up. Just a very good time. They've helped me, and I've helped them, you know. That's how I feel. I've helped a lot of people, tried to help a lot of people, and got myself in trouble at times, you know, doing things that maybe I shouldn't do as far as credit worthiness and things like that. But when we first started, we didn't have a whole lot of delinquency because everybody worked at the plant. It was just everybody out there. It was payroll deduction. Just if somebody got behind on their payments or something, we just take it out of their salary, you know. And so we didn't have very much delinquency at all. It was a fun place and started, it's just amazing to me where we started and where we are now. I was told the other day, I was talking to the CEO, and he figures within the next 10 years we'll be $1 billion credit union. And that just amazes me. You know, bunch of old fogies. And education, we didn't have a whole lot of education on our board, but we had feelings. We had good judgment. Of course, we made a lot of mistakes, but we had a lot of good CEOs and things that has really helped us over the years. Yeah. I get emotional, I'm sorry, but it's like I said, it's been a fun trip. Yeah. And the people, we just been a family. It's more like a family and running a family business, and just everybody cares for everybody else. It's really good. I'm probably rambling, but I think it, and like I said, it's been amazing, the things that we've accomplished as a board and CEOs that we've had. We've had some bad ones and we had some good ones. You know, we've been both sides. And I think that's what makes people grow. That's a hard question because you have to dedicate yourself, I think, to something. You have to make sacrifices. We've made, our board has made sacrifices over the years of work time, work overtime, and things like this. But we've learned so much through it, you know. Advice for somebody: get a good education. I think that's one of the primary things. This generation is not the same as our generation was. You know, we went and had a job. We had a job for 30 or 40 years. People now, they may work at a place for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. If they get 5 cents an hour more, there's no dedication there. Be dedicated to something and strive for that. I think that's what I would tell somebody. When I first come down here, I loved it. Went out to the beach, and I'm a Yankee, like I said, and the beaches were like snow to me. My family lived up in Indiana at that time. We had moved from Pennsylvania to Indiana, and they visited me down here, so my whole family moved down here. I was still at Ellison Field, and they moved down here, and just had my whole family here, and it was nice, very nice place to live. The only thing, it didn't have the seasons that we had up north, but we really enjoyed it. I was glad my mother came. She passed early after she come down here. She had a stroke and lost her, but I got married and had children and all down here, and that didn't work out the first time or the second time. I've been married for 37 years now, so I've got 6 children. I'm very proud of every one of them. Got 4 grandchildren, and I got 2 great-grandchildren, so very happy down here. In fact, one of my grandchildren is playing in the All-Stars over at Milton. I'm going over there and see him tonight. So keep a good CEO, keep a good senior management team. That's the secret today with all the regulations and stuff that they have for us now. There's no way that a board can keep up with that kind of thing. We go to workshops every year. We go 2 or 3 workshops a piece, and it's we don't have the time to do it, or the brain power to do it, I guess, the knowledge to do it. It could probably be done better, but I think somebody with common sense is probably a better board member than somebody that we've had both kinds, you know, that didn't have common sense and they were smart as a. But the ones that were smart, you know, in fact, I got one that lives close to me, and back during when we had a hurricane, he went to Sears and bought him a chainsaw so he could cut some wood up around the house. Of course, we didn't have no electricity for three weeks, so that chainsaw didn't do him any good. He bought an electric chainsaw and didn't have no electricity, so. But that was some of the people that we had, you know, and we got people now that I think 47, 48 years they've been in the credit union. They started when it started, and we've had both sides. We've had the education side of it, and most of the time that side did not work out. And I don't know whether it was us or not. You know, we've always had a good reputation throughout the state. I think common sense is something that you really got to have a lot of. You've got to have people that'll question things. We've had knockdown dragouts, you know. We've really had, at times there was the divisions on the board. We've worked those things out, and that's what made us stronger. You know, we'd fuss and fight. We didn't fight, but we fussed and argued and things like that. But you know, at the end, we all come out and we was all stronger for it, and smarter too. It's just been a wonderful thing for me and for my family. We get the opportunity to take trips. In fact, we just took one last week. We just got back from Niagara Falls. We had a workshop up there, and it's been beneficial to us as far as being able to go and do these things with help from the credit union. You know, they don't pay for everything, but they do give us the opportunity to see the world too, you know. In fact, this morning I woke up and I have 5 different jobs going right now. I'm on babysit. We got a board meeting today, but I don't have that. And I got 3 jobs out on the beach to work on, and I got a babysit this afternoon. And I lost my brother about 3 months ago, so I'm taking care of his wife and her properties and stuff like that, and pool and things like that. And it's been, last 3 months has been very hectic for me, but I love to work. I love to help people, and through my church I do a lot of little odd jobs and stuff like plumbing and electrical and things like that, just to help people. Love to do that. Right, it didn't. We were stupid. Wow. We would go out and recruit people to run against us.
Oh, really?
I'm serious. We'd want to have the election. We would go out and we would recruit. That's how I got on. Johnny Coker had been on 3 or 4 years. He said, "Jack, you need to get on the credit committee."
But then it'd have to be an election.
Yeah.
He couldn't just put you on.
No. He said, "Well, that's how it come about, though. You know, every year you'd get people that well, I don't like the way you do this, and well, just run against us, you know." And I think at one time, I know one of our board members, 2 of our board members, that got voted off at one time.
That actually happened.
It actually happened. Nelson Whaley was one of them. Fred Houston was one of them.
Oh, wow.
We had 2 of our main people that got voted off, and it was crazy. When Chris come in here, he told us, he says, "You people crazy. Why do you out recruiting somebody, you know?"
So that was even recently, since Chris has been here. I'm
Oh,
thinking
yes.
back in the 60s.
No. This was right up until probably 6 years ago, 6, 7 years ago. We'd go out, and we weren't recruiting as hard as what we did when we was at the plant, but yeah, we were trying to get people. And right now, the way we do it now, and I think it's we're trying to get our board down to 9 people. You know, when we had our merger and things like that, we added additional people to the board. Well, on the credit committee, we did the same thing. You know, there wasn't but I think 9 board members, but there was 4 people on the credit committee. So it made 13 people on the board. And then we've been trying to get down to 9. The board has passed a thing to get down to 9, and we just haven't been able to get there. But it's probably going to happen because of the age of our board. And what we're doing now, how we're recruiting people is through our supervisor committee. We're allowed up to 5 people. And just like Eric, he's probably going to be chairman of the board one day. That's my feeling. He's just very intelligent, got a lot of common sense, and has the feeling to, he wants to help people. And that's how I got on here. I want to help people, and I still do. And there's some people you can't help. Seriously, they dig themselves a hole, and you want to help them, but you can't. That's one thing about the credit union today. It's more of a business, I guess, more of a bank type situation than it was, way back, because it was everybody's money, and it still is everybody's money, and we give them rebates every year because of our CEO. We give $1 million back to our members every year. We've done it. You just don't see that from other credit unions, and I'm very proud of what we have in our senior management and things like that. We've had problems, but everybody does.